Ciao a tutti e bentornati sul mio canale. This is the first grammar lesson of our course. Today we're going to learn all about basic sentence structure and subject pronouns. In Italian, just like in English, Spanish, French, we have a sentence structure called SVO. SVO, because in a sentence we have subject, verb, object. Let's make an example. Simona mangia una mela. Simona eats an apple. Simona is the subject, the person who does the action, so it's the first element of the sentence. The verb tells us about the action the subject is doing, in this case, eating. And finally comes the object, which is the element of the sentence that the action is acted upon. Simona mangia una mela. And this is the basic sentence structure in a nutshell. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, because it's just like in English. Just one last example before moving on. Lo studente impara l'italiano. The male student learns Italian. Look at the subject, the verb, and the object. Same exact position as before. But just like in English, we can replace the subject with subject pronouns such as I, you, he, she. But first of all, in case you're not familiar with the concept, let me explain to you what exactly is a pronoun. A pronoun is an element of the sentence that replaces the noun. For example, in English, I can say the mother feeds the baby, but I could also replace the nouns of this sentence with pronouns, and it would sound something like she feeds him. In this sentence, she is the subject pronoun because it replaces the mother, which is the subject, the person who does the action. Him is the object pronoun because it replaces the object, which again is the entity the action is acted upon, the person or object that experiences the action. Now that you know what a pronoun is, let's learn all of the subject pronouns in Italian. We have io, tu, egli or lui, ella or lei, noi, voi, essi or loro. At this point, you might be wondering, why are there multiple options for he, she, they? The first options are the ones you will find in grammar textbooks because they are the grammatically correct ones. However, in the spoken language, nobody uses them anymore. We use lui, lei, loro, which were originally object pronouns. Since you're a beginner, feel free to ignore egli, ella, and essi. The only times we use those are when we are writing an academic paper or a book or talking to a college professor during an exam, but that's it. Now I have an exercise for you. Take the examples from before and replace the subject with the correct subject pronoun. Keep in mind that Simona is a girl's first name, and lo studente means male student. Pause the video now. The solution is in 3, 2, 1. If you answer lei mangia una mela and lui impara l'italiano, you are correct. Now let's try another exercise. Fill in the gaps with the correct subject pronoun. Parlo italiano. Amiamo le lingue. Pause the video now. The solution is in 3, 2, 1. Io parlo italiano. Noi amiamo le lingue. Something you should know is that in Italian you can omit the subject pronoun, and I'll show you why with an example. Look at the conjugation of the verb to eat in English. Except for he, she, it, it's always eat. So I can't just say eat because from the verb itself, you can't really tell who is doing the action, who the subject is. Is it I, you, they? But now let's look at the verb mangiare in Italian. The endings of the verb are so differentiated that you can tell the subject just by looking at the verb itself. So to say I eat, I can simply say mangio because the subject is unequivocally io. We only keep the subject pronoun to convey emphasis. For example, noi non siamo come voi. We are not like you. With the explicit subject, we have a clear-cut opposition between noi, we, and voi, you. Of course, I could also say non siamo come voi, but the first option sounds stronger and more assertive. If you omit the subject in this case, the opposition between noi and voi goes completely missing. This is all for today's video, and hopefully you've learned something new. As always, a recap of this lesson will be on my website, italianinsight.com. Until next time, alla prossima!